Welcome back to the Marriage and Real Estate Podcast. We're your hosts, Kevin and Aisha Shelton. I'm Aisha. That's Kevin.
Welcome back.
And we have guests. Yay!
Finally.
Let me tell you a story about these guests and how they came about today. We were having lunch with the Kuzas, and Kevin said, "You want to be on a podcast?" And they were
Sure.
like,
You want to see a dead body?
And so here we are, less than an hour later, we have guests today. So we are very excited to have you all
Thank
today.
you.
Well, thank you guys.
for having us.
Guests take off the pressure. So please, we'll formal introduce Francisco and Monica Kuza. And you are good friends of ours, as well as in the real estate industry on the lending side and the agency side as well,
Correct.
and the investing side, and have been in the industry for a good little bit and an amazing journey we're so excited to hear more about. But please introduce yourself formally and tell them a little bit more about yourselves.
Of course, you want me to start?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So it's been quite a journey, right? Me and Kevin know each other for what started about three and a half years ago.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things that I had an itch for. I had that entrepreneurial bug. And that started maybe about 5 years ago. I was a physician by training, a foot and ankle surgeon by training. And then I decided I don't longer want to do this. And then I needed to figure out what am I going to do and how am I going to do it. That was a struggle at first. You spend, 10, 12 years of your life doing something, and then you realize I can't do it anymore, and you don't have any other training. What do? You start from scratch. So my journey was, I knew that I wanted real estate because I had been in REI circles, but I just didn't know where exactly I was going to park the bus. And the industry is huge, as you guys know.
Yep.
A lot of different skills to learn. So I taught myself, and I did some accounting courses, finance courses, real estate law, and ultimately decided to park the bus in lending. And then I basically started in a retail lending shop, learned the ropes, learned how to put grade A paper together, and then ultimately formed my own mortgage brokerage company.
Very exciting.
Yep.
And Monica?
Well, everything that he just said, basically, when he told me that he didn't want to do medicine anymore, I was in shock. I was a stay-home mom, so, enjoying that stage of, motherhood. And basically, I knew I needed to help, and everything was going to change. But I supported him from the beginning.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I was in shock, of course, because I knew changes were coming our way. And it's always hard to get out of your comfort zone. And we were like in a very comfort zone for a long time. So nothing. I just supported him, and we decided, to start doing stuff in, as he said, in real estate. He definitely, I saw the passion that, I saw his passion for real estate. It was completely different as seeing him working with patients and stuff like that. He was a good doctor, too, but there was no passion. Yeah,
Interesting.
there was no passion. So I definitely saw the passion for real estate in him. So yeah, it's been a journey, trying to look for different things. Then he asked me, "Why don't you get your real estate license, and maybe we can do something together?" And I saw that as like something great. I mean, if we're gonna work together, I really want to do something with him and grow something together. So I saw a great opportunity, but it didn't work.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. It didn't work at all. So yeah, I mean, I did it for like a year and a half, and we were bumping heads. So, and we started having like hard times in our marriage, and last year, probably like November, October of last year, we sat down and I told her, this is not working. We need to do something
She
else.
gave me an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
You know, if we're gonna work together, we need to do something that we're both comfortable with and we enjoy. And so I told him, what if I, instead of doing my own thing in real estate as a real estate agent, start helping like growing your or lending business. And yeah, that's basically what we decided to do, and I think it's working way better.
Yeah.
Way better. I mean, I still have my real estate license, but I'm completely focused right now in growing TLD Capital for sure.
So our most of our audience, obviously, this is the Marriage and Real Estate podcast, and so we either have an audience of married couples who tune in, or people aspiring to be married and want to know how they too can work together with their spouse. And I think one of the common themes that we've heard when we've had other guests on the show, and if you go back to the first episodes that we've had, we've also had our challenges. So as sexy as we make it look on social media, it's not as easy as it looks on social media.
Yes.
Either, right? Mm-hmm. And I just want you guys to hear that, because I think you'll hear that as a recurring thing, but definitely from this episode, like, they tried some stuff and it didn't work. And that doesn't mean that you as a married couple in real estate doesn't work. It just means there needs to be a reorg, or some kind of communication that happens that says like what's going to work for the both of us, not just what works for you or what just works for me.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's interesting, and I want to touch back to when he first decided to leave medicine. What was your initial thought? Like what was the words that come to your mouth? That
She
conversation.
said she didn't like it.
It's so funny. No, I never told him that. It was like so funny because I was used to come back from dropping the kids at school, sit down and drink my coffee and eat something for breakfast, and I was about to start eating, and then ring.
Phone rings.
That was strange. Like I saw it was him, and no, we need to do something right now. I need to do something else. I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? So I think it was so shocking that I didn't have the chance to like process that, that I actually didn't want him to stop doing medicine.
Yeah.
But I heard actually, because he was on the phone, I heard his frustration. So that hit me. Like I'd never heard him like that before. So my instinct initially was like, I need to support you. Of course. Like we'll do something else. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really marriage is about, supporting each other.
And that's a hell of a lot of trust, right? Like you got to be locked in with your partner to go, you're going to leave. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And you're a physician, and we got to figure out something brand new.
Yes.
That's a lot of trust between y'all. So it's amazing to see the journey, because y'all been married 22 years, right?
22.
So from where y'all started to now, give us a little bit of I just messed up your whole mic, sorry. Give us a little bit of y'all's marriage journey before the business, before just the growth.
It's funny because we've had, it's like any marriage. No marriage is perfect, first of all. And I think at the end of the day, if I'm going to summarize everything, and I'll go into a little bit of a detail, but if I'm going to summarize everything, I think growth happens in failures, and in struggles.
Yeah.
Because we've struggled so much from the beginning. We met in college. We got pregnant very young and naive. And so that kind of put a halt on kind of like our childhood in a way. So we had to grow up very quickly, and put a lot of things behind. And then we had struggles with, marriage in and of itself is hard, but then marriage, when you have a child coming and you're not mature enough, at that point, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I went into medicine, thinking that was my way out. And I mean, it's hard to get into medicine. And I was doing that.
And that's a lot of school.
A lot of
to
schooling.
Have a baby and a family.
It's crazy. I was very, luckily we were very supported by our families, but even then it was hard. Challenges with, our son being diagnosed with diabetes when I'm a physician, that kind of hit us hard. Overall, a lot of different storms, and so we were able to some way somehow. It's almost like wine, man. You age it and or even whiskey or whatever. You age it, you put it under pressure, or diamonds, and something beautiful happens after all that. So I think that's really the journey that we've gone through. The most recent one being changing my career. It changed us, and I know it did in a way, in a positive way. Struggled a lot, but we were able to some way somehow make it work too, and say, okay, how do we take this and let's figure it out. And we've been doing it, and I know I have a good friend that always tells me it's a journey.
It's a journey, man.
So
Yeah.
so definitely it truly is a journey.
Yep. And honestly, while it's worth it, right? Like what you guys are creating and what you're going to do is going to be so well worth it. It's not an easy journey, right? Like
Not at all.
it comes with a lot of heartache. It comes with a lot of misunderstanding, but the beauty is when you actually get there. And so I feel like things like social media and TV over romanticize entrepreneurship. They over romanticize relationships and marriage. You know, you see these people online or on television and it's all easy and it's sweet and it's beautiful. But I think the both of us as couples can attest to how challenging it's been to take this journey, but also how rewarding it is as well. And so if you want to be comfortable, keep doing the same thing. Like keep your jobs, keep your routine that you have. But if you want to be great, if you want to do something that's great and you want to leave a legacy that's bigger than the money that you leave behind, then, you know, take this journey.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a saying, and you said the word being comfortable, and you know, you learn how to live also in you know, the uncomfortable is where it happens, and it's got to be a good uncomfortable, right? You got to be able to understand that, and so I don't want to misinterpret or send out the wrong message, but you know, you look at, always the opportunity is going to be when you're out of your comfort zone, for sure.
Yeah.
Here's a question. I don't think I've ever asked you this. The impact to your children and seeing you make that decision and seeing the change in y'all's family. Like, hey, dad's a doctor and dad's no longer, I'm leaving medicine, I'm retiring from medicine. Now I'm going to do this different thing that you guys haven't seen me in this role. You haven't seen me, you know, work from home. You haven't seen me do that. How has the change been in your family dynamic? Like, have the children been as supportive? Do they get that this was such a major life thing? Like, do they understand, like, dad's very brave, mom's very brave for, like, we betting on ourselves. Do they get that?
For sure, particularly, I think my son Diego does, but my daughter, you know, it's funny you mentioned this or asked this, because on Father's Day on the card, that's exactly what she wrote. Said, I understand exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and I'm so proud of you for doing it.
That's dope. That's amazing.
That's rewarding, because at the end of the day, talking about legacy, let's just, you know, let's fast forward it, you know, I don't know, 15 years from now, and we're looking back at this podcast and we're all super successful, audience is super successful. And financials aside, it's what am I leaving them, right? It's like we were talking about this too, is like, you know, and this is biblical too. You got to teach a man how to fish and let him fish on its own. So you leave that and say, look, you know, you go out and fish for your dream, and then figure out a way to get there and do things the right way, setting the right foundations and stuff like that. And they've seen it, you know, not like you said, not everything is, you know, it's not rosy. It's a struggle. It's, you know, there's a lot of sacrifice involved. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into, you know, your own business and entrepreneurship, but it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Do they want to go into entrepreneurship too? Have y'all seen a shift in that?
No, well, maybe Diego. But not my daughter. But going back to your other question, I myself feel like I was lucky, like the perfect timing that, you know, when this happened, because my kids are older. My daughter is 22.
Oh, yeah.
My son is 15.
Yeah.
So I don't have little kids.
You don't got diapers and
Exactly. I don't have little
right.
kids. But it was hard for me in a sense that I was so used to do everything around the house. I was a stay-home mom, you know, cooking, cleaning, you name it, everything around the house. So that was super hard for me. So, but I feel lucky, again, I said again, because I basically trained my daughter
Yeah.
to help me out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because at some point at the beginning, I was doing it all myself, like helping him, doing the house, the cooking, everything. And I was exhausted. And one day I told myself, you know what? I have a 22-year-old
That is
still at home.
That's real.
I need help.
Yeah.
So I started basically teaching her how to cook, how to do things around the house. She, you know, helped me before with a few things, but not as now.
Yeah.
So
Now she got a job.
That's right.
That's a really
But look,
interesting.
she's still at the house. So
she's still in the house.
I'm like, yo,
Yeah. And I sometimes I actually felt a little bit bad for leaving all that responsibility on her hands, basically. And I have talked to her and actually apologized because I feel bad. And she's like, no, Mom, I'm living here.
a
I'm,
better
you know,
person.
I mean, look, every
Yeah.
time that
Yeah.
first roll around and she don't have to pay rent, like, yo.
That's right.
exactly. So that you know, that wasn't that hard, you know, because my kids are not little.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine me doing all that I'm doing right now and having little kids. And that's you, basically.
But see, the crazy part about it is y'all
That's
still
you.
mad young. Like y'all
Yeah, but-
have older children, but y'all started super early.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
like y'all got a whole life to live. Like it's almost a new lease of life. It's funny. Our oldest is 14, and in my mind, when I first got divorced from my first marriage, I was like, I'm gonna be 40 with a 20-year-old. I'm gonna run the world, right? I was like, it's gonna be me and my daughter. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna be all in the streets or whatever. Now that didn't turn out to be anywhere near true. But the ideal of being young with older children, there's a freedom in that, right? Now I'll be, you know, a decade older than I plan to be, but I'm still like, we're going to be 55, 56 with grown kids. I'm like, and a little bit of money, you get
There's
to
a
do
lot of
some
life
things.
to be
Like,
lived.
yeah.
There's a lot of life to be lived there. I have a question, Monica. If hindsight is 2020, right, and we learn from the past, right? If there's a person that's in your shoes, that's in our audience, right? Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and we're gonna make this change. What would you say to that person now that you've had some time between when that actually happened and where you are now? What would you say to that person?
I would say to that person to not be scared and to not be scared of getting out of her comfort zone, basically. Because I was so scared of getting out of my comfort zone. And as you said before, routines. You know, once you get into a routine, it's so hard to get out of it, but it's so worth it. You know, it's scary at the beginning, but once you start doing it, it's like so refreshing. And you can do whatever you want, you know, even though you have kids or no kids, whatever you want to pursue in life, you can accomplish it.
Yeah, we have had several couples that come to us and want to talk through it. Like, oh man, I want to do what you guys want to do. How do I convince my wife to be on board? Or, you know, she's not on board with this. And y'all need to be together. You can't make this decision on your own because all of the ups and downs of the decisions that your partner, whichever way that person is, whoever that stabilizer is and that igniter, which is actually a phrase that we coined, a stabilizer and igniter, somebody in the house that kind of holds down the stability of the home, and then the other person who has the freedom and the ability to go ignite your dreams as a couple. Right. But it has to be y'all's dream. It can't be one person's dream. And so you might have to sell your partner on the dream and how this is going to work.
Yes.
But the one thing that we learned, and I think that Kevin did really well, was sell me on, okay, now if we do this, it's not going to be easy.
Look, I told her because I didn't want to do it.
And he was right about it not being easy. But what you can't argue with is your own data, right?
That's right.
So if you get someone to agree to like, okay, you sure you want to do this, right? Is this, we agree, we're here. yes, yes, okay. And then when hard comes, we just have to gently remind our partners that, remember we said this wouldn't be easy. This is the not easy part of
Right.
it. But I think I've said it time and time again. It's so worth it. And I enjoy working with my husband every day. I enjoy the fact that together
It is worth
we're building something that is greater than us, that impacts people in a positive way. And I mean, truly does leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. If she would have said no, would you not have left medicine?
I would have been destroyed.
Really?
Yeah, because then even though she was completely on board, and I don't know if this is a guy thing, but we feel like providers, right? We have to
Yeah.
provide, and so I was like, well, damn, I can't. There's no way. I didn't see myself another. I practiced for about 12 years, and just based on my age, I have another good 25 years, maybe 30, whatever the number is. As far as production goes, and I was like, well, I can't, I don't see myself doing another 25 years of this. So that would have been hell on earth.
I don't think we will be here.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
No, in some occasions, whenever for some reason he felt that I was not 100% on board, he, indirectly have told me like, no. I mean, if somebody, comes in front of me or my goals, I'm sorry.
Because you
I'm
become determined,
gonna
right? You
say
have,
bye-bye.
it's like Eye of the Tiger type of
And
thing.
that was hard because at that time, whenever he said those things, that hurt me. I mean, because I was like, so I'm not important to him. So that was a struggle because it's not that I was not 100% on board. It's just that I was actually trying to find myself at the same
That's
time.
tough.
I was becoming a different person.
Yeah.
I was transforming myself at the same time. So it was, and he was not seeing that. So whenever I was like stuck, like in my process of growing or changing or whatever you want to call it, he was thinking that I was not on board and I didn't want to support him. So yeah, I think that's what happened at those times. But yeah, honestly, I don't think we would be here if I had told you, no, you had to keep doing medicine. Yeah.
You know
But
what's
it's getting easier though, right?
Oh,
As difficult
1,000%.
as it was in the beginning, it gets easier. And I think it is difficult. I just can't imagine. And it was difficult for us in the beginning too. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't want to destroy him. But what's hard to realize or to see from the other person's perspective is what the other person is going through, right? And so he probably didn't have a good idea of what you were going through and the changes that you were making and the feelings that you
That's
were
right.
feeling and the battles that you were battling. And you maybe had an idea but didn't quite understand his as well. And so I guess communication is like and even
Key.
it's hard to do sometimes, but so necessary because when we don't say it, it becomes something greater.
That's
I
right.
feel like too. But no, I commend you guys for continuing the path in the journey because there is another option, right? There are so many other options that you could go. And here you are on the Marriage and Real Estate Podcast, being married and in real estate.
You know what's
and
dope
trying
though?
out.
When he needed to turn the train around, you were on board. And then when you turned the train around on the entrepreneurship and said, hey, this ain't working for me, he had to get on board.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So
right.
y'all had a flip in dynamic where even on the entrepreneurship side, you were like, look, we fighting, this ain't working, whatever,
Right.
we got to do something different. This doesn't work for me. So you both have had your moments
You
and
did.
now
Yeah.
y'all
Say
are
that.
on,
Yeah.
you know,
It's like, hey,
this
wait, you're
moment.
changing the plan. It's like, you're right. I am changing the plan.
Because
And
I'm a
the
part of
plan
this
has to
plan too.
change.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
now what started off as your journey, she had to be on board. Now it's become y'all's journey 100%.
And
Right.
that's what I like about it. That's what I wanted from the beginning. And you said it earlier. Is what I wanted, and it's going to be so beautiful looking back like 10, 15, 20 years from now. Looking back and look what we did together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's gonna be so like
Rewarding.
That's the reward.
rewarding.
Yes.
And that's the powerful legacy,
And beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
Your children get to see another, if this is 12 years in medicine, 3 years now outside of it. So you say you get to another 12 years of straight entrepreneurship. Now your children saw both sides of the
Yes.
coin completely. You know what I mean? You guys built this completely on your own, just the two of you fighting that battle for, 12 years or 10 years plus, whatever. That's an exciting thing because then they go, oh, well, I know I can do it. My mom and dad did it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. So with the last 5 minutes that we have, tell us about what you guys do. Who are you? What do you do? You're married. You're in real estate, but who are you?
Who's the lending doc?
So the lending doc. So obviously we created this image, this brand, since I came from medicine, and I started basically my mortgage brokerage company. So we came up with this brand, right? The lending doc. But the lending doc is basically a mortgage broker, a residential mortgage broker, as well as a commercial mortgage broker. And beautiful lady next to me is the lending doc's business developer. So she helps me with the marketing and community outreach, human resources. She's all that. and a
She's
bag
the
of
pretty
chips.
face.
That's exactly right.
You just
Pretty
need to
face.
crunch the numbers.
That's right.
She needs to grease. She sells it.
Exactly. But that's it in a nutshell, right? It's and let me put a little parenthesis on this. It's going back to marriage and growth. Marriage is, to me, it's like getting into a canoe. We each have an oar, and we're just trying to paddle, right? And it's beautiful when you can get two people on board. We paddle at the same pace, and ultimately end up going in the same direction, as opposed to going around in circles.
Mhm.
And at times it feels like that, right? And that's okay. And that's where you redirect, and then you kind of hit the reset button. Hey, let's talk this through. Because there's an easier way, right? Everybody can say, okay, screw this, I'm out. And that's actually easy.
That is easy.
Yeah.
But it isn't at the same time, because there's always going to be, you do that you're going to find that there's going to be an emptiness. There's always a better way, and the better way is to work it out and open communication.
Yeah. So here's a fun question as we close out. Monica, and I'm sure these will look different, but let's see how similar they are. Where do you see the lending doc in 5 years?
in 5 years, I see it. I see it big. I mean, I see it everywhere. Like not only in Florida and Texas, other states too.
Yep.
Big company with more employees, not only just you and I.
Yep.
And yeah, I see something great and big coming. I sense it.
All right.
That's
I sense it.
Francisco?
I see the same thing. I see scale. I see multiple arms of this. As you guys know, I'm also a real estate investor and dabble in commercial real estate as well. I see multiple arms. I see the private money side of this business also growing and doing capital raises for projects. So time will tell, but I'm super excited about it.
Perfect. We are excited to see
Mm-hmm.
where the lending doc goes. We're excited to see what you guys do as a couple. You got to promise to come back.
Of course.
Okay,
Will,
cool.
You
for
got to tell the
sure.
people where to find you. One of the things that I want to make sure we do is give them well access to you. So, website, Instagram page, shoot it all out.
Yes. So Instagram is the lending doc. Website, thelendingdoc.com. Phone number is 833-501-3738. I think that's it.
In Texas and Florida.
Texas
and
and
Florida.
Florida.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Right. They're Texans by way of Florida. You know, so they got that dual thing going on. So no, we appreciate you guys being
thank
on.
you guys.
Appreciate you guys being a part of our journey.
Yes.
So many of our friends are the guests ultimately in our podcast because it is a small community and we spend our days actually doing the real estate part of this.
Right.
And we're blessed and thankful to have a community of other couples who are married and in support of not only growing their business, but also supporting us in our business. And that likewise extends to you guys' business. So thank you for being our friends, and thank you for being a part of our community and this Marriage and Real Estate podcast. Oh, smash that like button.
Oh, God.
I got to remember to do it. Smash the like button. Smash the subscribe button. If I don't do that, the YouTube gods will get us.
Yeah. And I just want to thank all of the people that follow and listen and have grown with Kevin and I on our journey of marriage and real estate. And again, as much as we're grateful for the guests that come and share their stories with us, we're also grateful for our audience that comes and listen to everything we have to say about marriage and real estate as well. So thank you to our listeners and our viewers.
All right. It's another week. We out.
Bye.